Welcome back in. Sooners on SI. Our preview specials continue here as we count closer and closer, nudge our way to game week here. Ryan Chapman, John Hoover, Carson Field, your Sooners on SI staff, continuing our 2025 preview today with who we think Oklahoma's most valuable player will be. Gentlemen, this one's pretty simple. We can't pick the same guys. So Hoov's got the first draft pick here. He won our lottery in the background that you guys didn't see. There are no restrictions on this. If you've been following this series with like the X Factor, sorry, John Mateer's not available. R. Mason Thomas not available. Yada yada yada. No restrictions. Straight up Hoov. Who will be Oklahoma's most valuable player in 2025?
Well, you guys saw yesterday my pick for my bold prediction, I should say. My bold prediction was that John Mateer wins the Heisman Trophy. Now, bold prediction, a little outlandish, a little out there, a little out in front of everybody else. Nobody else is picking this, right? Nobody? I don't know. Maybe some people are. Here's my MVP for the Oklahoma Sooners for 2025. Big surprise. It's the lowest of the low-hanging fruit. This isn't low-hanging fruit that's like on the ground even. This is not even low-hanging fruit that fell in my basket. It fell in my basket on the conveyor belt and is on the way to be processed. That's how low-hanging this fruit is. It's John Mateer, MVP of the 2025 Sooners. This course of this season was set way back in December of 2024 when Brent Venables wisely hired Ben Arbuckle, the offensive coordinator from Washington State, because, Arbuckle's a good offensive mind, and his offense is going to be a great fit at Oklahoma, especially after a disastrous 2024 season. But the genius in hiring Ben Arbuckle was in the likelihood that OU would also land John Mateer, the quarterback at Washington State. No Oklahoma player this offseason has been more instrumental to me in turning this thing around for this OU offense. Think about it, going all the way back to women's basketball games and gymnastics events where he's out there getting the crowd fired up. He's leading the cheers at the Crimson Combine. Remember that? In December, that was last December. Or just this week, I believe yesterday, he's gifting his teammates a truckload of brand new Beats headphones. Mateer has been the heartbeat, guys, of this team. He's the straw that stirs the drink. This kid's all about positive leadership and performance. And after what Oklahoma did in 2024, that's what they need. They need positive performance and they need positive leadership. John Mateer, MVP.
I think the scientific term, it was a schooner full of Beats headphones, not a truck club. Got to get that one right. Got to get that one right. All right, Carson, Mateer off the board. So by picking one, I'm not saying you don't think John Mateer will have a good year, but who already got him? So with no John Mateer available, who is your draft pick, your selection for the Sooners' most valuable player?
Certain analysts have been hyping up the OU defensive line as maybe the best in the SEC, maybe the best in the country. I think OU's defensive line lives up to that hype, and a big reason why is R. Mason Thomas. That's my MVP on this team. He was exceptional, kind of came out of nowhere to have the season that he had in 2024. He was awesome. I think he's going to have at least one defensive touchdown, might lead the team in sacks this year. I think he is going to be the heartbeat of that defensive line, which I think is going to be the best unit on the team for OU. Guys like Marvin Jones coming in, depth pieces like Danny Okoye, Taylor Wine. Then you got Grayson Halton, Dominic Williams, some guys in the middle that are really good, really big, really proven. Jaden Jackson, of course. I think R. Mason Thomas is going to be the vocal point of that unit. I think he's going to be exceptional, make life miserable against some really good quarterbacks on the other side, guys like Lenoris Sellers. I think he's going to be fantastic, and as good as he was last year, I think he's going to be even better in 2025.
Make or break year in Norman, and we know, though, for Oklahoma, you can say they're on the hot seat. They're like, great, we want to win a title. That's always the standard in Norman. If you're going to do that in the SEC, you've got to have an elite edge rusher, and R. Mason Thomas certainly was that, especially as he turned it on last year. He got that touchdown in Baton Rouge. We thought for a moment that it was like, oh, never mind. Okay. Shout out to Garrett Nussmeier and Toradol. All right. No John Mateer, no R. Mason Thomas. So I'm going to go with one of the shortest tenured Sooners on the roster, a guy who wasn't in this big wave of influx, this big influx of talent in December. He was not in Norman for spring ball, but you know what? Oklahoma moved to a new model with Jim Nagy, and he struck quickly, going out and grabbing Cal running back Jaden Ott. Eric Gray a couple years ago was a feature back in terms of he was the guy that got most of the carries. Javante Barnes formed a nice 1-2 punch, but they haven't had a guy like Jaden Ott since Kennedy Brooks certainly I'm looking at Jaden Ott not just because of what he can do running the football as far as once he gets to the second level, it feels like we listened Brent Venables for 3 years talk about at some point you got to win your one-on-one matchup. If the O-line takes care of their stuff, you got to make a safety miss. You got to make a linebacker miss. Guess what? Jaden Ott, if he's healthy, he can do that. He'll be able to run through trash behind the line of scrimmage the times that it's not perfect because there's going to be some new pieces on the offensive line. It's never going to be super peachy clean. And then on top of all of that, I think the other dynamic is Jaden Ott does not have to come off the field because he can stick in there and he can protect John Mateer's backside in pass pro if that's what's called upon him. He can get out in the flats and make things happen as well if Ben Arbuckle schemes something up just to get him the ball quickly, get out on the perimeter and take advantage of some of those much bigger wide receivers Oklahoma has in the blocking game. So I'm a big believer in Jaden Ott. I know that Jim Nagy is a huge believer in Jaden Ott. I think this guy has NFL back written all over him with his versatility and everything that you need to do these days to be one of those top end NFL running backs. I think he's going to add just simply a different dynamic to this Oklahoma offense, which is going to help them be much, much improved from a historically poor unit a year ago. So I got Hottoto. It's Jaden Ott. He's going to go to the end zone a lot. He's going to go to the end zone a lot for Oklahoma. Be sure you're headed to the website, Oklahoma Sooners on SI.com. That is the place for all of our season preview content, which will turn the page to game week content here on Monday. But we have one more roundtable to go. That's where we make our official record predictions. That'll come out Sunday morning, 6 a.m. Be there at B Square tomorrow. But for Hoover, for Carson Field, I'm Ryan Chapman. We'll talk to you guys right back here tomorrow.